This is DJ Fish with Fish to Go Movie Reviews. Grab yourself a glass of port.
That's the picture.
This is now day 2 of my continuing challenge to watch 100 movies over 100 days. If you missed yesterday's movie, you can click right now on the annotation in the top left portion of the screen. If you're viewing this video out of sequence, though I don't know why you would, because it's, you have to watch it from day 1 to day 100, or from your view 1 to 100. Then you can also view the next day's video, if posted, because if you're viewing this right now, it won't be posted until tomorrow, with the annotation on the top portion of the screen. Better click now. And so we continue with the challenge. Each movie suggested by friends, family, or you guys, or just, me browsing through the Netflix Instant library, or my own library of movies that I still haven't even seen, and just to see what I'm interested in. And hopefully I don't run into too many movies that suck. Luckily, I can say tonight's film is not one that sucks, though not in the way that you're probably thinking right now. This is David Cronenberg's 1986 horror sci-fi flick, The Fly. I'll say it again. The Fly.
You are about to go beyond that limit.
Those weird hairs that were growing out of your back, I had them analyzed. But they were definitely not human.
If you saw how scared and angry and desperate he is.
I'm sure Typhoid Mary was a very nice person, too, when you saw her socially.
No!
You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you?
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing.
Oh no. What's happening to me? Am I dying?
I want to know what's going on.
What does the disease want?
Wants to turn me into something else.
Oh, no.
A fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
Don't go back to it. Could be contagious.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Now, after watching this trailer, 2 things might come to your mind. 1, this is a very cheesy 1980s sci-fi that can't be as interesting as it looks. And 2, why are you watching a movie with Jeff Goldblum? But I can tell you right now that The Fly is a very terrifying and is oftentimes amazement of a motion picture. Jeff Goldblum's character is a scientist who happens to meet Gina Davis, who is a reporter, and he brings her back to his scientist lair to discuss his latest project, which is to transport one solid object from one pod to the other pod. At first he experiences problems with this method, but once he successfully transports a chimp from one pod to the other, he decides he wants to do it with a human being. During this whole thing, you've got Gina Davis, who's got a former boyfriend, and now you've got this love triangle going on. And so Jeff Goldblum decides to enter the pod himself. The only problem is, a fly gets trapped in the pod with him. And the next thing you know, he starts feeling much differently afterward. He's developing fly-like symptoms. I think you've had your fun. I'm not going to discuss anymore. The Fly is admittedly only the 4th film I've seen from David Cronenberg. The other ones being A History of Violence, Videodrome, and Eastern Promises. But even each of those films I saw provided a superior showcase in acting and direction, and this film is no different. First half of the film is very cautious about how it develops its characters. And thankfully we don't get any of that stupid science mumbo-jumbo that just takes up as filler dialogue. Cronenberg successfully jumps right into the matter, and Goldblum and Davis establish this underlying connection. And then you've got the film's second half, where he starts turning into the Fly, and things get much more chaotic and turn into downright horror. That isn't to say the film buckles underneath its own weight, but through the outstanding makeup effects do we feel a much greater sense of urgency and destruction. Really though, Cronenberg's The Fly is like looking through a big magnifying glass. Like the other films I mentioned, this is an examination of character and the ability to push the limits of that character, as well as the actors portraying them. I gotta say, I was a pretty big fan of this movie when I watched it, and I'm gonna give it an A-. I can't really say I found much fault with it, other than maybe it borrows some other great horror films made around that time period. It's still freaky and earth-shattering to watch that final sequence, and I don't believe that image will be leaving my mind anytime soon. And if you guys have seen The Fly, what did you guys think? Like it? Hate it? In the middle? You decide. Leave a comment down below telling me how you might have thought about this film, and then if you like any of my reviews, you can certainly subscribe, or you can just give me a big old one of these. This is just movie number 2 out of my 100 movies, so I've got 98 more to go. Hopefully you guys will be on my journey with me. And once again, I'm DJ Fish for Fish to Go Movie Reviews. Movie reviews on the go.
That's the picture.